Good morning here. As you can see, I'm in a beautiful park setting, so maybe that's worthy of drawing more listeners. But unfortunately, I can't stay here because I'm out of charge. And if I want to keep charge, I'm going to try and do it from my car. Heading over here to my car, and I'm armed with an arsenal of the most beautiful teaching history, which are available to us all the time. Hello, Isaac Friedman. Welcome. So we have the most incredible teachings available to us ever in history. Let's see if this is going to charge. Doesn't seem like it. Hold on. There we go. I don't know if it's working. It might cut off. Oh well. Got to do what I can do. So, we were talking about a debate about whether it's good to eat before davening or not. Let's talk about Mashiach. Okay, I'll get there 1 second. I promised to discuss the topic of eating before davening, and because I challenged Rabbi Michael Green to a debate on this topic. It's been a bit of a debate in the yeshiva because I see Bachurim come there in the mornings and they literally fall asleep on the table while davening. If you didn't think it was possible, I could tell you otherwise. That's what happens. So I see them complain to their mashpim, their teachers, about one of them actually yesterday, a friend of my son who's in the yeshiva. He insisted on going back to his dorm before. Actually, I'm not sure whether he davened or not. That's maybe important, but I think it was after he davened. He was tired. He wanted to go to sleep. So I had to pipe up because I see this as a massive problem in the yeshivas and in the world in general, is that we make ourselves so weak. I had an amazing conversation with someone this morning. Someone was collecting money for a yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, in the Holy Land. That's a special yeshiva for troubled children. We have troubled children. We have special schools for them. We don't have special schools for troubled adults. It's really the same point. It's the same idea that you have people. He described them. It was fascinating, the word he used. He was speaking in slightly broken English. He's Israeli. And we were talking in English. And he described their problem, because I was trying to get at what is their problem. At first he says they're poor, they need jobs, this kind of thing. He describes that they come from Hasidic backgrounds. And what he described as, I forget what word he used for that, but something like broken homes. They come from broken homes or dysfunctional families. And they're really strung out. And he described them fascinatingly, because it's a topic that I wanted to talk about, not just this morning, but in general. It's a major topic, but also this morning. He described them as hungry, which is where, in my world, or the world I'm supposed to be in, which is business, the word hungry is something that you are proud of. If you want to hire someone, a young guy who wants to get a job, is he hungry? Like, especially if it's a job where he's expected to show some ambition, not, of course, to take over the company, but at least to establish himself as a real contribution, someone who could help the business. So that person's described as hungry, but he used the word in a different way, and I think that they're so related, and I'm going to explain to you why. And this is what it comes down to, and it relates back to Avodah. So he uses the word hungry, and I said, what do you mean by that? In what sense are they hungry? Because I see that as a good thing, as a powerful thing. And he says that they're so easily set off when they're offended or if they face any challenges. They're so weak, he says. And I say they're weak because that's the message that people tell them all the time. Their hunger is interpreted as a weakness. And it is a weakness, because the way that they relate to their own hunger is as they're sort of told by the world, that their hunger and their weakness is their personal fault, and it's a negative thing about them, and it means that they're worthless and they're not of much value. But really the opposite is true, and this is something Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson I like to promote his website, not because I have any affiliation with it, because I just think it's an amazing resource of heightened sensibility and sensitivity when it comes to understanding Torah in our times. So the yeshiva.net, great website, awesome stuff there. So Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson has been speaking about the idea of the, what's the word to describe them? Children that are challenged, they're in difficult situations, defiant, I think that's the word. Defiant teenagers, right? The words like go hand in hand, they blend so well together. Defiant teenagers. So these defiant teenagers, Rabbi Jacobson describes this defiance as a special spiritual sensitivity. He quotes Dr. Twersky, I think, on this, Rabbi Dr. Twersky, and his psychology on this idea, and his experience with this idea that these teenagers are the most spiritually sensitive, and therefore the most powerful, the most ability to really contribute something meaningful and worthwhile in this world. So it's specifically these defiant teenagers that are the ones that have this power. And I see that as related to hunger. So hunger could mean a weakness. It means you're vulnerable. You need something else. Or it could be seen as a keen sense of focus, a target, a goal. Someone who's hungry in business pursues his goals like a hungry animal seeks out its game, its catch, its meal. So that very weakness itself becomes a power, an energy, a source of energy. And I want to read today's Hayom Yom that actually talks about this very topic. I'm going to do that in another stream because people have short attention spans, which is why I'm giving this whole speech to begin with.